Welcome to the Homeschool Sanity Show, your weekly prescription for happier, healthier homeschool living. I'm your host, Dr. Melanie Wilson, Christian psychologist turned homeschooling mother of 6. Hey homeschoolers! This week I had a reader question about curriculum that I just had to respond to with a podcast episode. It was essentially this: I have so many curriculum options. How do I choose which to use this year? We're going to chat about that in just a bit. But first, if you are interested in a fun language arts curriculum for your elementary students, I would love to have you follow me on Facebook in the Grammar Guardians group or on Instagram at Grammar Galaxy Books. I occasionally share language arts helps on both platforms, and Guardians share their mission progress. It's so much fun and can be motivating to your kids. I choose a Guardian of the Month from those who share in the group, who tag Grammar Galaxy Books, or who use the hashtag Grammar Galaxy. I send them exclusive motivational stickers, writing instruments, and bookmarks. Now for the teaching tip of the week. It is to watch a video review to make decisions on curriculum. When I started using Periscope 2 years ago, I found the video reviews on the platform so helpful. If I watched live, I could not only see inside the books or online program, but I could ask questions of experienced users. Since then, I have been doing my own curriculum reviews on Facebook Live at my Psycho with 6 Homeschool Sanity Facebook page. I would love to have you join me each week for these reviews and other tips you can use regardless of the curriculum you're using. You can also search for video reviews on YouTube. If you have a question that hasn't been asked, comment and you'll get the information you need to make a decision. This week, August 15th at 4 Eastern, 3 Central, 2 Mountain, and 1 Pacific, I will be reviewing Grammar Galaxy live on the free Homeschooling 101 Facebook page. You'll have the chance to ask questions and to win a copy for free. The review will be added to YouTube, and I am happy to answer your questions after the live video is over. Time for this week's topic: how to overcome curriculum paralysis and make decisions about what to use this year. It's a common problem, and not just with new homeschoolers. The longer you homeschool, the more books you purchase, and the tougher the decision can be. I want to begin by saying that I did do a podcast episode on curriculum addiction. You can listen at ultimateradioshow.com/addiction. Sometimes we have a problem saying no to buying one more option. The more options we have, the more difficult it will be to decide what to do this year. I also did an episode on the questions you should ask when choosing curriculum. You can listen to it at ultimateradioshow.com/questions. However, when you've already spent the money and your bookshelves are full, how do you decide? That's what I want to address today. As I considered this problem, I realized I have confronted it in many areas of my life. I am someone who wants to do it all. I want to write books in multiple genres. Truth be told, I'd love to be a Christian podcaster and speaker and not just a homeschool one. I'd love to write and speak about a variety of topics. I'd also like to teach in a co-op and maybe at the university again. I'd like to get more involved in homeschool activities and leadership. There is a term for people like me, and it's not just crazy. We have so many interests and we get depressed when we are told we have to choose one to focus on. We are called scanners, multi-potentialites, Renaissance women, and polymaths. I think of myself, though, as a Holly hobby. In the past, I felt bad about my habit of trying to do it all. It felt immature. It's true that in trying to do it all, I rarely finish anything. That was discouraging, and it hurt my self-esteem. Then I read the book Refuse to Choose by Barbara Sher. She has dealt with many people like me and has some solutions for those of us who are this way. I am going to pull from one of her solutions to address the problem of curriculum paralysis. You can use it to deal with paralysis in other areas of your life as well. What I am not going to say to my reader with curriculum paralysis is just as important as what I am going to say. I am not going to tell her she has to decide on one option and get rid of the rest. This is terribly depressing and discouraging to a Holly hobby. It's like telling her that she can choose one ride to go on at Disney World. No, she won't be able to go on every ride and see every show, but she has to believe that she can when she enters the park in order to be happy. We know there's no way she can do My Father's World, Classical Conversations, and Tapestry of Grace at the same time. But telling her to choose just one for all time isn't the right response. So here is the right response. Schedule your curriculum. To begin, that means to decide which curricula you absolutely want to use this year. If you can tell yourself that you will use some of them next year, you'll reduce some of the options for this school year. How can you put something great off an entire year? By choosing curricula that really can wait without your children becoming too old for it. If it's a history curriculum or something that isn't strictly age-dependent, wait on it. For each, ask what's the worst that can happen if you wait a year to use it. Another way to decide which curriculum to use this year is to consider what's most exciting to you. Take a look at your bookshelves and move the options you are most eager to use to the front. If you do this every year, and there are books that are always at the back of the shelf, you've made a decision about what not to use, but in a less painful way. I have books that I have never used because of this process. While I regret that I haven't used them, I know I made the right choice. I've been able to pass them along to homeschoolers who will want to use them this year. Another way to limit your options for this year is to decide how many different curricula you think is reasonable to use for one subject. That includes all-in-one curricula that also covers the subject at hand. If your friend was using 3 math curricula this year for the same student, does that seem like too much? If it does, settle on a number that makes sense to you. Next, ask yourself if using multiple curricula at once will make any of them less effective. For example, if you are doing poetry tea time with Brave Writer and poetry memorization with IEW and the grammar of poetry, your kids may not enjoy the relaxing and fun aspect of poetry tea time. In fact, they may end up hating poetry. This is the same issue with using a curriculum that is great because of short lessons. Stacking many curricula for the same subject will erase its advantage in motivating your children. If you still can't decide how many curriculum options to use for the same subject, ask your veteran homeschool friends, and not the ones who are always trying to impress. If you presented using My Father's World, Classical Conversations, and Tapestry of Grace this year to your experienced homeschool friends, they would laugh. You can also ask your kids. Show them how much work they would be expected to complete each week for each subject, and if they seem alarmed and not just reluctant, you'll know you're trying to teach too much at once. Once you've decided on a number for each subject or for an all-in-one curriculum, go to your shelf that you've arranged according to excitement. For example, If you think using 2 Bible curricula this year is reasonable for you, go to your shelf and choose the 2 you've moved to the front as the most exciting options. Then, and this is very important, move the books you will not be using this year out of sight. I have a storage area in my basement for books I'm not using. It helps me to feel confident and to be less distracted when I don't see those other options tempting me. Once you know the materials you will teach this school year, decide how you're going to schedule those options. I see 3 good choices. First, choose the day or days of the week that you will use each. For example, some of my customers use a different language arts curriculum Monday through Thursday and then do Grammar Galaxy on Fridays. For some curriculum options, this means you will not finish it this year. Is that acceptable to you? It may be if it is a supplement or a fun curriculum or something you plan to continue the following year. Create a schedule for which curriculum you will use on which days that your whole family can see. A schedule will help hold you accountable so you aren't dragging something else out of storage. A second option is to use a loop schedule for your curriculum. When I have explained loop scheduling at conferences, some people are confused. I'm going to try to make it clear, but if it still isn't clear, Proverbial Homemaker has a loop scheduling workshop you can find at psychowith6.com/loop. So maybe you have Fix-It Grammar and Grammar Galaxy in the loop for 11 o'clock in your homeschool day. If you used Fix-It Grammar the last time you did language arts at 11, you'd use Grammar Galaxy today at 11. Or, if last Friday you used Fix-It Grammar, you'd use Grammar Galaxy this Friday. A loop schedule works well when your schedule is unpredictable, and it allows you to fit in a number of options. You can loop more than 2 options also. So maybe you want to loop your Kids Cook Real Food course, an art course, and a music appreciation course for a block on Fridays. You can use a schedule that hangs on the wall with pockets for activities. You would move the card for each activity back as you use it when looping. Alternatively, you can write your loop options on an index card and move a paper clip to mark which option is up next. A final schedule option is to use one curriculum for part of the year, a quarter or semester. We tend to do this when we think a curriculum isn't working, but this would be a planned change. The advantage of this is you keep things simple by just using one option at a time, and you change about the time you and the kids are getting bored. The thing to keep in mind with this option is the need for continuity of subject matter. If you're going to change math curriculum at the semester, you wouldn't want to start at the beginning of the new book if the material has already been covered. On the other hand, the kids may not understand how to do the problems in the middle of the book if they haven't seen how the material is handled at the beginning. For this reason, I don't recommend changing certain curricula mid-year. If your kids are struggling with the material, changing mid-year is fine. It's no problem to change Bible or history curriculum mid-year, for example. Even language arts can be changed mid-year depending on the scope and sequence. If you're still feeling paralyzed, ask a veteran homeschooling friend to come over and go through this process with you. Verbalize why you want to use each curricula, and most likely you'll know what to do, even if your friend says nothing. One final thought. You are the teacher. People were homeschooling successfully before there was curriculum written specifically for homeschoolers. Your decision is not going to make or break your kids. If you are a reasonably consistent teacher and you pour love into your homeschooling, your kids will do well. Today's action steps are: follow Grammar Galaxy Books on Facebook and Instagram, and join me for a review at Free Homeschooling 101 on August 15th at 4 Eastern. Limit your curriculum options for this year and then schedule them on certain days of the week or parts of the year. Consider loop scheduling. Get help with that at psychowith6.com/loop. Ask a friend to help you make decisions, and remember, you're the teacher. You've got this. Find the links to everything mentioned in this episode at homeschoolsanity.com/paralysis. Have a happy homeschool week.
Thank you for joining me for the Homeschool Sanity Show. This has been a production of the Ultimate Homeschool Radio Network.